creatives, welcome to Artist Star. My name is Beth and I'm here at the gallery to do a tarot reading for Aries season and the three decans. I'll also offer a bit of astrology guidance as to how we might all navigate what we receive from Source and how to use any messages for your placements. Okay. Let's start with a reminder about the sign of Aries. It is the first sign of the zodiac and rules the first house of self. It's a season starter, it's the spring equinox, and a visionary, the cardinal sign. The element is fire and ruled by the action-oriented Mars, a real, direct, go-get-it sign. At its best, you'll feel heart-led by your intuition and passion. The shadow side may bring a more domineering or self-centeredness, maybe a quick temper, definitely impatience as to how you go about getting what you want or think you need. The major arcana card is the Emperor, so this conveys strength and willpower. Secure in the mind and body, stability and balance. It's that intuition and really acting through your intuition to behave as a noble character. The shadow side would be the opposite, but it is always in degrees and always need to be reminded that we are all here to work on something. So with that in mind, I'm going to begin the reading with encouraging you all to check your charts for what house you have Aries in. If you have your Cards of Truth chart, check it to see what card your Mars is with and consider any messages starting there. For instance, to keep this as simple as possible, my Mars, which is Aries led, right? That's the ruling planet, is placed with the Seven of Spades. You look for the little symbol and see where your symbol of Mars is with what card. And along with the third cusp or house of communications for me, among other things, but we'll stick with the communications for now. So to start, I'm going to listen to this reading as a time to strengthen my communication skills, that's that third house, and to be more heart-led with clear and concise communications, especially with myself and my daimon. That's Aries, the first house, and the Seven of Spades invites me to take a deeper look and explore what it feels like to receive that information of what I might let go of that's not supporting me or possibly holding me back, so that I can make room for a more healthier well-being. So I'm going to link in the description box below where you can find your own personal Cards of Truth chart so that you can see what card you're related to with that Mars. So let's get started with the tarot reading for Aries season and the three decans. I'm going to channel messages from Source and ask what would be beneficial for Aries to know to deepen their creative experience. I'm using the archetype cards for the overview of where you are being invited to take an inner look, followed by my Cards of Truth, Spirit and Nature deck to fine-tune where to begin going a little deeper by pulling the thread and then follow up with more helpful clarity with the Lenormand card. And last, we'll finish with a loving wishcraft card message of encouragement just for you. Okay, so the first decan runs through March 21st to the 30th. This is ruled by the fiery action planet Mars. So you're doubling down on that Mars action. This brings spontaneity or impulsiveness to your nature, quick temper, quicker tongue. It can be quite unpredictable. This could make you seem arrogant, but however, when this quick-witted and strong characteristics are harnessed and used well, it comes across as inner strength and self-confidence, which can have very favorable results depending on where your Mars is in your chart. Okay, so let's turn over the archetype card and see what you got. Warrior. Okay, that is a great one for the first decan. So the light attributes, strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. It's a heroism, a stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. Wow, that is a tall order for this first decan. Okay, so the shadow attributes. Trading ethical principles for victory at any cost. Indifference to the suffering and inflicted on others. Yeah, so warrior, Mars, Aries. Wow. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a super strong personality. And what you're being invited to take a closer look at is that in degrees of your skills in the discipline and your toughness of will. You know, that I'm popping into my head that true grit, right? And how the soul and ego really have to have that conversation. You have to know yourself so well to be or know what kind of warrior you are or want to be, right? That heroism, which is all good and fine until if the shadow attributes get in the way and kind of challenge your ethical principles, right? For any victory. So it's when to know when, you know, that Kenny Rogers song, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away. It's that card theme of just being grounded in who you are at your core. So, okay, this is where you are being invited to have that look. This is really good. I'm pretty excited. Let's take a look at the cards of truth here. Spirit and Nature deck, you got the 10 of clubs. The 10 of clubs is a really grounded sign. This card is all about rolling up the shirt sleeves and getting to work and getting it done and finding the joy in the action of it. Very goal-oriented, very, oh gosh, the 10s are this life path. This is the ecliptic card. So in the major arcana, it is all about manifesting. It is related to the magician card. So it's you in that total groundedness between source and earth. It's you being able to really decipher in an instant what's needed. It's almost like it's ingrained. This is the perfect card for the warrior card because you're not in it for the glory. You're not in it for the attributes of having the ego stroked. It is more about doing the right thing for the right reasons. It's very interesting that it's also the life path card because this is reward for effort. So whatever you put in comes back to you in kind. It's just a really perfect card. So it's a little business oriented in that it's the club pursuit, right? The club pursuit, intellectual pursuits of the club's suit. So it's you really in your best element here. So you're in the perfect spot to really question your degrees of what you need to work on or to make better. The things to look out for here, that is your adaptability. You want to be really able to be versatile in what comes your way. And for that Mars Aries position of this first decan, that is a challenging place to be. So dig deep, and whatever comes up, remember to ask to co-create for clarity and balance if needed. Always a good thing to be reminded of. So you've got the ship for the Lenormand card. Beautiful card to get here. It's in the upright position, as is everything. So this is about an abundance. You are really thriving in this role. You really have it going on. You have the best of intentions. Everything in this spread for you, first decans, are really top-notch and really going for it in the best way possible. Wow, this is really interesting. So, yeah, in an abundance, your ship's coming in. So whatever you've been working on is going to get better with that manifesting of the Magician card. Really quite beautiful. Okay, let's turn over the Wishcraft and see what you got. Really beautiful card, isn't it? What's your words of encouragement here? Send a letter to the universe. The world loves me. And if you are the typical attitude of the 10 of clubs, you couldn't care less, and that is perfectly perfect. It is the perfect place where a warrior needs to be coming from. I'm very excited for you. This is really pretty sweet. Okay, let's move on to the second decan. Second decans run from March 31st to April 9th. This decan is ruled by the sun, that warm, bright, sparkly sun. This brings a confident passion and energy that makes you a good and highly creative leader who shines. That's the Leo part. This also brings a strong sense of integrity and nobility. And also the Leo, that gives you a natural, enthusiastic ability to lead. Leo again, especially with the added influence of Aries being Mars-led. This makes it more difficult to take orders or share the limelight depending on your personal chart. It could give you that snobbish characteristic, or appear to be sure to check where your Leo is in your chart and what you have in the 5th house, because the 5th house is ruled by Leo, or Leo is ruled by the 5th house. That's the 5th house of creativity. So that could be very important as to what you have there. And rule that whatever is in there is going to narrow down the possibilities for you. So do have a look there. So let's turn this over and see what we got. The Pioneer. Light attributes, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. It's really hard to read. That's so light. The shadow attributes. Compulsive need to keep moving on. Busy for busy sake. All right, so the Pioneer card. I always love to think about the grass and the dandelions and how they move into the toughest territory. You always see them growing out of the crack of cement and tar in parking lots. And I always think, I love the Pioneer. The Pioneer is that person in the covered wagon, just full of hope and knowing it's going to be possibly a hard row, but you are geared up for it regardless. So, and this could be that catch-22 that you just cannot settle long enough to push through. And being that sun-led as well as Mars, that bright, sparkly, charismatic person that you are, you have that light about you that just sparkles, that warmth and feeling that draws people to you. The pioneer could really be that leader that the cards are referring to here, and the astrology around this. But in what? What are you a pioneer for? How do you encourage and help other people to see how to set their sights on something, to move forward for it, and creating what has not been done before, right? A real pioneer. So in every regard, I love this. And you've got this beautiful heart shape here on the top of this bottled magic. It just says that everything is contained within. Such a really lovely message for an Aries, because this first house of self is a containment of who you are at your core. This really beautiful connection of soul and energy, having that conversation about how to get there. And being heart-led with that. Having your ego on board with that. Let's see what you got for the cards of truth. Oh, wow, the King of Spades. All right. Well, this just took a very, very noble turn here. The kings are all about sacrifice and doing it for the greater good. A real spiritual leader here. The spades are all about remedies and cures and finding your well-being. And the kings are about doing that for just about everybody. It is about an incredible spiritual journey. It's always about that with the spades anyway, but to have that be the king here is really interesting, because with the King of Swords, it's about willingness to break things down, deconstruct. And by things, I mean ego, the things that hold you back. It's like the King of Spades is born to do that work and to be an example, as you are with Leo led, that charismatic figure that people want to be drawn to. The King of Spades brings such a grounded, solid business to it, because it's you figuring out who you are at your core and being that beautiful light that shows others how to get there as well. So it's deconstructing with a certain kind of nobility and grace. That's what the King of Spades are here to do. There's only one for the year. January 1st, that's it. They're rare. So this isn't a common thing that you are being reminded of. So for you here with these cards, your message is to strive to be that inner balance of a king, that nobility of a king, to reach for that, because this is you co-creating with your daimon to have those revelations, to prompt your transformation. This is like the Phoenix Rising card. It's you making lemonade out of lemons every chance you get and pioneering through it. absolutely incredibly beautiful message. All right, let's see what we get. We got the stork. So the stork is all about progress. This is all about healing pain. Just perfect, isn't it? The pain that you've accumulated as you go through life. This is like past pain. So you could even think about it as past life stuff that you've brought with you from past lives, or ancestral baggage, you know, stuff that you picked up just from the family that you've been born into, what you are here to do. You're drawn to it. And you embrace it with a kindness and generosity that you show yourself as well as other people. I just see you as some kind of pioneer for some kind of spiritual movement where you're connecting ego and soul and doing it beautifully, pioneering, you know, like Star Trek, going where no man has gone before. Absolutely incredibly gorgeous. All right, I want to meet you. Okay, so your card for the wish card here. Windy kite magic. My wishes matter. Co-create, baby. You are on the right track, going in the right direction and getting there in the most beautiful, gentle, kind way possible. Make sure that you allow that to come through for yourself as well when you are co-creating with your daimon and your spirit guides. It is all about showing that compassion, that empathy for yourself so that you can be there for everyone else. Because clearly you have something in your future that you need to be doing. Beautiful. Okay, Decan number 3, from April 10th to April 19th. This decan is ruled by powerful and joy-enhancing Jupiter, the planet that encourages expansion and exploration of the mind and body. This brings you an air of restless confidence that gives you an individualistic, creative glow. Because this is going to really address self, right? So that's that confidence that you already naturally inhabit as an Aries. And that restlessness comes from that Sagittarius that is Jupiter's. Jupiter is Sagittarius's ruling planet. So that's why that's bringing that in. And it gives you that individualistic glow that is more of a leader than a follower. Aries again, and Jupiter and Sagittarius have that as well. So here, that Mars and Jupiter tap dance brings a fast-paced, deep thinking and lofty action-oriented perspective. That's that Sagittarius-Jupiter energy. The challenge of this decan is that catch-22 of being in love with that free spirit who is resistant to stability. So you want to look for what house Jupiter is in your chart and where Sagittarius is, and its natural ruler Jupiter, and that the natural house for Sagittarius and Jupiter is the 9th house, and how you get more insight tailored for you. So the 9th house is that exploration of mind and body. Just a beautiful house to be free and curious. Okay, let's see what you got with your archetype card. Networker. Enhance unity through the sharing of information engenders social awareness and empathy. The shadow side, or attributes, conveys information only for personal gain and spreads fear and falsehood. Okay, so networking. Yeah, that is busyness, isn't it? It's you knowing everybody and everybody knowing you. And you tap into that like a pro. That is just a perfect card for a Sagittarius, Jupiter, Mars, Aries combination. I would be very curious as to where your Sagittarius is in your chart. I have Sagittarius rising. So, yeah, very interesting. So, the light attributes being about sharing information, right? And engenders social awareness and empathy. So, spreading that really beautiful, inclusive warmth that Sagittariuses have. There is just a certain sparkle that, I always say, if you want to have a good party, invite Gemini and Sagittarius. They will keep the party rolling. They are butterflies and they do it very well. And it is just who they are. So I'm sure you've got that ability and you must come across as being very stable and self-confidence with that Aries vibe too. And that Mars action, you're just in it to get the work done, and how you go about it is the key to this third decan. Because that joyful Jupiter expansion can maybe get a little overly giddy and maybe becoming more of a pleaser rather than someone who is more stable and grounded and going with the flow in a connected, ego, soul-led conversation. So interesting to have that come up here, because the personal gain, right? I mean, it may be that you are networking for exactly that. It may be your job to network. And of course you're going to have personal gain, but this says for only personal gain. It's okay if you are doing this for the greater good of others, and wealth and opportunity are coming your way. It doesn't make you an opportunist. So check a meter for that and really listen to what comes across, how much of it is coming from source and for the greater good would be the thing you'd want to ask. And whatever comes through for you, just remember that, it is all about that co-creating. It's all about having that first asking, right? And accepting what comes through. That's to reevaluate your people, places, and things in your life, to question whatever desires or impulses, what you feel is blocking you is all good information. And then you accept it, right? Because you need to bring that forth to be healed. So you ask your guides with intention and with gratitude to co-create for clarity and balance. It's essential. Okay, let's see what you got for the Spirit and Nature cards of truth. 8 of Diamonds. Well, you couldn't have gotten a better card for the third decan. The whole 8 of Diamonds thing is that Rahu energy. It is where you are drawn to explore and experiment. It is you in that self-validating, grounded, clear, driven path that you want to go on. And you do that just by naturally being who you are. You come across as very confident and clear, sure about who you are and where you want to go and how you're going to get there. and you do it like a champ. You know, this is so far, if you haven't seen it, I did a video on Andy Warhol, who is an 8 of diamonds. And he is like the networker of networkers in the creative world and doing it with such confidence. He had such controversy around his art and how he created it and what he did with it and how he succeeded. He was just brilliant at it. Maybe not as heart-led as the cards here are suggesting would be the better path. I don't know. I don't know him. Never knew him and only knew of him, but a very curious and interesting character. I believe he did good in the world and was more of a light attributes kind of person than a shadow, but who knows? I don't remember him being anything of a fear and falsehood deliverer. So he definitely wanted to make a positive difference in the world, I would think, from what little I know. But it's interesting all the same. The 8 of diamonds is a really beautiful card here because the 8s are all about that stability of contemplating. It is intuitive. The diamonds suit is very intuitive. And the 8s are very confident. The downside of the 8s is an overconfidence, where you're so sure of yourself, and do check into what you might have as an overall elements to your chart, because if you are heavy on the fixed elements, then you are going to be more resisting to having something come through for you. Mutable, you know, you might have trouble deciding. And the cardinal signs, which is an Aries, if that is your more of the cardinal energy than anything, then you might think you don't need that information, that ignore it. You're so busy seeing the bigger picture, of what's going on in the end game, that you lose sight of the little things that come up to show you how to get there in the best way possible. So do keep that in mind as well. So let's see, you got the Fox. Very interesting card to get here, because this warns of having someone within your group, your peeps, that may try to deceive you, which often happens with the best of us out there. There always seems to be some challenge somewhere along the line of having someone try to undermine or manipulate, ride your coattails, something. So be clear about who you have in your support group. That's what this card is warning against. Because I'm just going to read it here because it feels like that is more important. The fox is sly, a friend. Let's see. Okay. The fox is sly, a friend is too. Someone may try to deceive you with wiry glasses and Renard snaps. Urgh. Evade deception and beware old traps. Interesting. So know yourself well, and I would highly encourage you to work with your daimon with this one, and maybe do some protection elements, like find out what gem works best for you. You can just use your pendulum and ask your daimon, run it over some crystals, or just write the word down and ask if this is the right one for you. Do a little research. You can go by your birthday, you can go by a lot of things. So check that out and see what's best for you, because obviously you need some protection here. And you may have someone that seems to be a friend, but really is trying to undermine you. This is you as well, and being able to sidestep it. So I don't see this as a genuine threat, but it is a reminder that if you are too airy-fairy in your networking and not grounded and stable enough, you might come across as someone who is easily deceived. So to keep that from happening, and that element of unpleasantness from being in your realm, you got to come across as being that stable, knowing self, which I'm pretty sure you are. Just saying, these cards here are saying that you are, but there's someone who might possibly want to try. And don't deceive yourself, right? That's another element of the Fox card. It could be that you are in that fixed, I don't need to look at it, I'm good, when you really do need to look at it. So ask, contemplate, accept, and then, question, right? Question what comes up for you for people, places, and things, what that desire and impulse is, what blocks you might feel, and then, because whatever comes up, you want to bring forth to heal, and then ask your daimon to co-create for clarity and balance. Ooh, look what you got here. All right, so also with the eights, before I turn this over, it is a contemplation card. This is the Hanged Man in the major arcana. So what you're looking at here is that ability to really contemplate, look at something from a different point of view. That Jupiter Sagittarius connection with your Aries Mars is really going to pull through for you on this one. It is that rewards that you're going to have come through for you, finding that balance. All right. Magical rocks. I am grounded and creative. So do check into those crystals and stones if you've got like something you can put in your pocket, so you can just be in the moment, finding out what is really happening for you, and have your daimon come through for you with hanging on to either a worry stone or just something that connects you to that energy. Okay. So I am going to leave it there. I hope everyone has a beautiful Aries season. I'm really encouraged by all three decans here. This looks like an amazing month for all of us. So, okay, I will see you tomorrow for the dailies. And until then, keep it kind and curious. And as always, happy creating.